Now, I want you to think about something powerful for a moment. Has this ever happened to you? You work diligently, you do everything right, yet somehow money continues to slip through your fingers like water. You look around and wonder why others seem to have the magic touch with money while you're left wondering what you're doing wrong. That's right. The secret to transforming your financial reality might be simpler than you ever imagined. Here's what most financial experts won't tell you. It's not your work ethic that's the problem. It's not your talent or your education. It's the invisible energy you're broadcasting about money every single day through your words. You see, money isn't just cold paper or digital numbers on a screen. Money is energy, alive, responsive, and surprisingly emotional. It reacts to how you talk about it, think about it, and especially how you feel about it. This might sound strange at first, but stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might surprise you and completely transform your financial future. When you say things like, "I never have enough," or "money always runs out before the month does," you're actually casting powerful little money-repelling spells without realizing it. Your words are like commands to the universe, setting vibrations in motion that either open or close the flow of abundance. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the globe. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Think of your spoken words as a GPS system for prosperity. Every declaration you make is programming your destination. And tonight I'm going to share one specific phrase, just one, that when spoken daily, especially before you sleep, can begin to shift your financial reality so dramatically that you might see $10,000 appear in your life seemingly out of nowhere. This isn't about fantasy or wishful thinking. Joseph Murphy, one of the pioneers in understanding the power of the subconscious mind, revealed that our words spoken with conviction just before sleep have extraordinary power. They bypass our conscious resistance and plant seeds directly into the fertile soil of our subconscious, where all manifestation begins. What makes this approach different is that it doesn't require you to hustle more, stress more, or add more to your already busy to-do list. It simply requires you to understand the energetic power of your words and how one specific phrase can align your vibration with abundance so quickly it will make your doubts dizzy. The universe responds not to your wishes, but to your words. And the words you're about to learn have been used by countless people to transform their financial situations in ways that seemed almost miraculous. You know, I've spoken with thousands of people about their relationship with money, and there's a hidden truth I've discovered. Most of us have been unconsciously casting financial spells on ourselves every single day, negative spells that push abundance away rather than draw it closer. Think about the phrases that escape your lips when you check your bank account or when a bill arrives. "I never have enough money." "Where does all my money go?" "Why am I always broke?" These aren't just innocent complaints or observations. They're powerful declarations to the universe about what you believe to be true. And here's the revelation that transformed my own financial journey. The universe doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you constantly affirm. It simply responds to your most dominant thoughts and words with a cosmic "as you wish." This mindset trap is where most people find themselves stuck in a perpetual cycle. You say you want more money, but your daily language tells a completely different story. It's like planting tomato seeds while telling them every day that they're carrots. You can't expect the universe to ignore your words and deliver what you secretly desire instead. If you're ready to transform your relationship with money and abundance, hit that subscribe button now. I share powerful techniques and mindset shifts that can help you manifest the prosperity you deserve. And I understand the frustration that comes with this realization. Maybe you've Been sitting there wondering why financial abundance seems to flow easily to everyone else, while somehow skipping your address entirely? You look around and see others receiving unexpected checks, lucrative opportunities, and financial windfalls. And you think, what about me? Has the universe forgotten my name? This feeling of being overlooked is actually a crucial signpost on your transformation path. It's not that the universe has forgotten you, it's that it's responding precisely to the vibrational frequency you've been broadcasting. The universe isn't personal, it's mathematical. It matches your energy with experiences of the same frequency, and your words are the most powerful conductors of that energy. Behind the scenes of every financial struggle is a pattern of speech that few people recognize. The words you speak carry an energetic impact that ripples through your reality, either opening or closing the channels through which money can flow to you. Think of your words as the password to a vault of abundance. If you keep entering the wrong password, the vault remains locked, no matter how desperately you want what's inside. But here's where the decision point arrives in your prosperity story. Once you understand that your words are literally programming your financial reality, you gain access to a level of power most people never discover. You can choose, starting tonight, to speak a new language of abundance that aligns with what you actually desire to create. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by sharing the exact phrase that can begin reprogramming your relationship with money while you sleep. This isn't about surface-level positive thinking. It's about understanding the mechanics of how your conscious words influence your subconscious mind, which then orchestrates the circumstances of your life. If any of this resonates with your own experience, write "breaking the spell" in the comments below. I'd love to know how many of you recognize these patterns in your own money story. The breakthrough that changed everything in my own financial journey was realizing that it's not your work ethic, talent, education, or even luck that determines your wealth. It's something far more fundamental, yet largely invisible: your word energy. This revelation is both liberating and challenging because it places the power directly in your hands, or more accurately, on your tongue. Think of your financial life as a garden. Most people focus entirely on the actions, the planting, watering, and weeding. But what if I told you that the words you speak over your garden have as much impact on its growth as the physical care you provide? This is the hidden dimension of manifestation that transforms ordinary people into magnetic attractors of prosperity. The universe operates according to precise spiritual laws, and one of the most powerful is this: your spoken words are not merely descriptions of your reality, they are actual commands. To the universal law, every syllable you utter sets a specific vibration in motion, creating ripples across the fabric of your experience. The universe doesn't respond to your wishes or even your deepest desires. It responds to your words, especially those charged with emotion and conviction. This principle has been understood by spiritual masters throughout history. Joseph Murphy called it the power of the spoken word, and demonstrated how our declarations act like invisible keys, unlocking invisible doors of opportunity. When you declare, "I never have enough," the universe says your command is my wish and orchestrates circumstances to fulfill exactly what you've declared. The enlightening truth is that you've been using this power all along, just not consciously. Every complaint about bills, every frustrated statement about money slipping away, every defeated declaration about financial struggle, these weren't just observations, they were instructions to the cosmic blueprint of your life. But here's where your awakening begins. The same mechanism that has been working against you can be harnessed to work for you with astonishing precision. Your words can become conscious commands that recalibrate your financial reality. This isn't mystical thinking. It's working with the architecture of creation itself. The catalyst for transformation isn't changing everything about your life overnight. It's changing the words you speak before sleep, when your conscious mind relaxes. Its guard and your subconscious becomes most receptive. This nighttime reprogramming creates a new template for your financial experience, allowing abundance to flow through channels that were previously blocked by limiting declarations. The mindset shift required here isn't complicated, but it does demand consistency. You must begin treating your words as the sacred tools they truly are. Just as you wouldn't carelessly swing a hammer around valuable objects, you can no longer afford to be careless with the words you speak about money. I'm about to share the exact phrase that has helped thousands realign their financial frequency. But first, I want you to truly grasp the significance of this moment. You're not just learning a technique, you're discovering the fundamental operating system of reality itself. If you're beginning to see how your words might have been shaping your financial reality, type "Words create worlds" in the comments, because that's precisely what's happening. Every time you speak. Now let me be crystal clear about something important. This approach to financial transformation isn't about chanting magical phrases while waiting passively for money to fall from the sky. That's where most people misunderstand the profound mechanics of manifestation. The true alchemy happens inside you first. When you speak these powerful words of abundance, especially before sleep, they begin working immediately. Not by changing your external circumstances overnight, but by shifting something far more powerful, your internal blueprint. Your mindset transforms, your frequency elevates, and your subconscious behavior patterns begin to align with prosperity consciousness. This internal revolution is where the real journey begins. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how a person who wins the lottery but maintains a poverty mindset often loses everything within a few years? Or how someone with abundant consciousness can rebuild wealth multiple times even after setbacks? The external circumstance isn't the determining factor. The internal programming is. Your words act as precise recalibration tools for this internal programming. Every time you declare abundance with conviction, you're literally rewiring neural pathways that have been shaped by years of limiting beliefs. This is why the practice feels strange at first. You're creating new neural highways where only limited pathways existed before. Consider your words as GPS commands to the universe. When you habitually say, "I'm broke," or "I can't afford that," you're not merely describing your current situation, you're actually programming your destination. You're telling the cosmic GPS exactly where to keep you. And with perfect precision, the universe complies. The illuminating insight here is that you have the power to reprogram this GPS at any moment. You can speak new coordinates into existence. Instead of unconsciously instructing the universe to maintain your financial struggles, you can consciously direct it toward the abundance that is your natural birthright. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is this fundamental shift in how a person speaks about money. It's not coincidence, it's causal. The words come first, then the mindset shift, then the inspired actions, and finally the external results that seem lucky to observers who don't understand this process. The revelation that transformed my understanding was learning that this isn't about pretending or fake positivity. It's about aligning your words with the truth of abundance that already exists. You're not creating abundance out of nothing. You're removing the barriers that have been blocking it from flowing naturally into your experience. As we explore the exact phrase to speak before sleep, remember that consistent practice creates consistent results. This is a recalibration of your entire relationship with money, a relationship that has been shaped by years of unconscious programming. The new path requires patience, but the impact can be immediate and profound. If you've been using words that limit your financial reality without realizing it, type "reprogramming my GPS" in the comments, because that's exactly what we're doing with this powerful technique. Let's explore the fascinating science behind why this approach works so powerfully. When you speak words aloud, you're not just creating abstract concepts, you're generating actual sound frequencies that travel through the air and interact with the physical world. This isn't mystical thinking, it's basic physics. Sound is energy, and energy affects matter, including the matter that makes up your body and the environment around you. The breakthrough understanding is that your emotionally charged words literally shape the energy field that surrounds you. Think of it as your personal atmosphere that either attracts or repels prosperity. Scientists studying cymatics have shown how sound frequencies create precise geometric patterns in sand or water. The same principle applies to your spoken words. They create energetic patterns that form the template for your material experience. What makes this process so transformative is how these vibrations interact with your nervous system. Each time you speak with emotion, you're sending electrical signals through your body that influence everything from your hormone production to your brain chemistry. This physiological response doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's vividly imagined or spoken. Don't miss out on more life-changing abundance practices. Subscribe to join our community of conscious creators who are mastering the art of financial manifestation. Here's the revolutionary insight that changed everything for me. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what is actually happening and what you vividly imagine or declare with emotion. This is why Olympic athletes use visualization techniques. They're programming their subconscious to create physiological responses that enhance performance. The same mechanism works with financial prosperity. When you declare abundance with conviction, especially in that twilight state before sleep, when your analytical mind is quieting down, your subconscious accepts these declarations as truth. It doesn't argue or analyze. It simply begins aligning your perceptions, actions, thoughts, and even the opportunities you notice to make these declarations real. This is the hidden pathway that explains how top performers in any field achieve seemingly impossible results. They aren't just working harder, they're speaking and visualizing their success into existence first, which programs their subconscious to recognize and act on opportunities that others miss completely. The wisdom tradition of Joseph Murphy explained this phenomenon decades before modern neuroscience confirmed it. He understood that our conscious declarations serve as powerful instructions to our deeper mind, which then orchestrates circumstances in ways that often appear coincidental or lucky to outside observers. What makes this nighttime practice particularly potent is that you're working with your brain when it's most receptive. During the alpha and theta brainwave states that occur as you drift towards sleep, the critical faculty of your mind relaxes, allowing these prosperity declarations to sink directly into your subconscious without resistance. The integration of ancient wisdom and modern science creates a blueprint for transformation that few people ever discover. You're not just repeating empty phrases, you're strategically reprogramming the operating system of your subconscious, which governs approximately 95% of your daily decisions and perceptions about money. If the idea of reprogramming your subconscious through spoken words makes sense to you on a deep level, type "sound creates reality" in the comments, because you're beginning to grasp the fundamental mechanism behind all lasting transformation. So what exactly are these powerful words that can transform your financial reality when spoken before sleep? Here they are, and I want you to really absorb them. I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance. Money comes to me easily, expected and unexpected. This precise phrase wasn't randomly created. Joseph Murphy, after decades of studying the relationship between consciousness and material reality, discovered that certain word Combinations carry a perfect vibrational rhythm that aligns with universal abundance. This specific declaration is one of those rare formulations that bridges the spiritual and practical realms with remarkable precision. What makes this phrase so uniquely powerful is how it reframes wealth from random chance to structured law. When you say, "I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance," you're acknowledging that prosperity isn't arbitrary or reserved for the lucky few. It's governed by precise spiritual principles that work with mathematical certainty when properly understood and applied. The breakthrough insight is that wealth operates according to divine law, just as gravity or thermodynamics do. Once you align yourself with this law through conscious declaration, money responds not as an elusive entity, but as a natural expression of universal order. This is why the phrase feels so grounding when spoken with conviction. It's aligning you with fundamental truth rather than temporary wishful thinking. I invite you to pause right now and say these words aloud. I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance. Money comes to me easily, expected and unexpected. Did you feel that? That subtle but unmistakable shift inside? That's not imagination. That's your energy field actually adjusting to a new vibrational setting as each word turns another lock in your subconscious mind. The sensation many people describe is like a weight being lifted or a door opening, as if something inside is finally receiving permission to accept prosperity as your natural state. This immediate bodily response is your first evidence that the process is working, even before any external changes appear. What happens in that moment is fascinating from both a spiritual and neurological perspective. The words, "money comes to me easily," directly contradict the scarcity programming that most of us have carried since childhood. This creates a momentary conflict between your habitual thinking and this new declaration. The resolution of this conflict, choosing the abundant thought over the scarce one, is where transformation begins. The dual nature of the phrase, expected and unexpected, is particularly ingenious. It opens your awareness to recognize both the obvious channels of income you're already anticipating and the surprising windfalls that might come from sources you haven't even considered. This prevents your logical mind from limiting the ways abundance can reach you. The revelation here is that these aren't just pretty words. They're precise instructions to your subconscious mind and to the intelligent field of energy that surrounds you. Each syllable carries a frequency that begins realigning your entire relationship with prosperity, starting at the deepest level of your being. If you felt that subtle shift when speaking these words, type, "I felt the shift," in the comments, because that momentary sensation is actually the beginning of your financial transformation. Now here's where most people unknowingly sabotage this powerful process. They'll say their affirmation with conviction in the morning, "Money comes to me easily," and then 5 minutes later complain to a friend, "These bills are killing me," or "I can never get ahead financially." This contradictory behavior creates a spiritual short circuit that neutralizes your manifestation efforts. Think of this mixed signaling as similar to watering a beautiful garden and then immediately pouring bleach on it. The universe cannot respond to conflicting instructions. It's waiting for consistency, for your words, emotions, and beliefs to align into a coherent signal that it can match with corresponding circumstances. This revelation transformed my understanding of why some people seem to manifest effectively while others struggle, despite using the same techniques. The difference isn't in the affirmation itself, it's in what happens during the other 23 hours and 58 minutes of the day when you're not actively affirming. The hidden truth behind manifestation mastery is developing unwavering vigilance about your casual money talk. Every offhand comment about being broke, every joke about not being able to afford something, every complaint about prices, these aren't innocent observations. They're powerful decrees that override your intentional affirmations. This is why I tell people to guard their words like the precious treasures they truly are. Your declarations about money aren't just descriptions of your current situation. They're the architectural blueprints for your financial future. The statements you make today become the experiences you live tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year. The journey to financial transformation requires a fundamental mindset shift, seeing your words not as passive commentaries, but as active creative forces. When you truly grasp that every statement about money is literally programming your reality, you become intensely selective about what you allow yourself to say. Behind the scenes of every financial miracle is this disciplined commitment to speaking only what you wish to experience. This isn't about denial or pretending problems don't exist. It's about consciously choosing which reality you want to energize with your attention and declaration. The enlightening perspective that changed everything for me was realizing that your words aren't just reflections of your thoughts. They actively shape your thoughts. When you consistently speak abundance, despite temporary circumstances, your mind gradually recalibrates to make that your dominant thought pattern. This is where the true impact of nighttime affirmations becomes clear. By speaking these prosperity declarations before sleep, you're planting seeds in fertile, subconscious soil. But for those seeds to flourish, you must protect them throughout your day by refusing to speak words that would poison their growth. The revelation awaiting you on this path is that as your word discipline strengthens, your manifestation power accelerates. Each day of consistent speech brings you closer to the tipping point where your external reality has no choice but to reorganize itself around your new energetic blueprint. If you've caught yourself making contradictory statements about money that might be canceling your positive intentions, type "guarding my words" in the comments, because this awareness is the crucial first step to breaking the cycle. Let me share a practical strategy that amplified my results with this abundance affirmation. Take a moment today to write down this powerful phrase. I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance. Money comes to me easily, expected and unexpected, and place it somewhere you'll see it throughout your day. Your bathroom mirror, your phone wallpaper, even tucked inside your wallet. This visible reminder serves as an anchor for your transformation journey. Each time your eyes land on these words, they penetrate a little deeper into your consciousness, gradually dissolving the resistance that's been blocking your prosperity. The visual reinforcement works in harmony with your spoken declarations, creating a multi-sensory immersion in abundance consciousness. When you say this phrase each morning and night, don't rush through it like a mechanical exercise. Say it 3 times slowly, feeling each word resonate through your being. Many practitioners describe visualizing themselves surrounded by golden light as they speak, allowing the vibration of the words to fill their entire energy field. This isn't just poetic imagery. It's creating a specific neurological and energetic state that becomes increasingly familiar to your system. The profound revelation I have witnessed in my own life and in countless others is that this practice creates a heightened awareness of prosperity that was always present but previously invisible to you. Money flows constantly all around us, but most people have been programmed to focus exclusively on lack. This brings me to the second transformative practice, acknowledging every single instance of abundance as tangible proof of the divine law in action. When your paycheck arrives, don't just deposit it automatically. Pause and say, "This is the divine law of abundance in action." When you receive an unexpected discount, find money on the street, or even when someone buys you coffee, acknowledge it with the same declaration. What this conscious recognition accomplishes is profound. You're training your mind to perceive that abundance isn't rare or occasional. It's happening continuously in various forms. Each acknowledgement strengthens your belief in the reliability of this spiritual principle, creating a powerful feedback loop between your consciousness and your experience. Behind the scenes of this practice is a fundamental shift in your relationship with evidence. Most people demand evidence before belief. They want to see the $10,000 before they'll believe in abundance. But spiritual masters understand that belief precedes evidence. By acknowledging even tiny manifestations of prosperity, you're essentially telling the universe, I recognize the law at work and I'm ready for more. The illuminating insight that revolutionized my understanding was realizing that gratitude for small amounts magnetizes larger amounts. Every time you sincerely thank the universe for $5, you're demonstrating that you can be trusted with $50, then $500, then $5,000. This is the hidden escalator of abundance that most people miss entirely. Your consistent acknowledgement of prosperity, no matter how modest, gradually reconstructs your entire perception of reality. What once seemed like coincidence now reveals itself as divine orchestration. What appeared as scarcity transforms into evidence of unlimited supply. If you're committed to implementing this practice of acknowledging every form of abundance in your life, share "I see prosperity everywhere" in the comments, because this shift in perception is where your financial revolution truly begins. Now, let's address something that might be creating resistance within you. When I mention attracting $10,000, your logical mind might immediately object. That's a huge amount. How could words possibly bring that into my life? This reaction is completely natural, but it reveals something fascinating about your current belief system rather than about what's actually possible. Here's the perspective-shifting truth. $10,000 only seems like an enormous sum because of your present financial conditioning. The amount itself isn't inherently big or small. Those are subjective judgments based entirely on your programming. To the universe, which deals in infinite abundance, $10,000 is neither impressive nor difficult to manifest. The breakthrough insight that transformed my own relationship with money was realizing that the universe doesn't calculate difficulty the way we do. It doesn't think, well, $10 is easy to manifest, but $10,000 requires special effort. The universe calculates only one thing: your energetic alignment. When your vibration matches abundance, money flows, whether it's $10 or $10,000 or $10 million. What's happening when you speak this powerful phrase before sleep is a fundamental recalibration of your belief system. As you consistently declare harmony with the divine law of abundance, the number $10,000 gradually stops feeling extraordinary. It begins to feel normal, expected, even modest compared to the true prosperity that's your natural state. This inner transformation is where the true alchemy occurs. Once the amount no longer triggers disbelief in your consciousness, the channels for receiving it open naturally. What seemed impossible becomes inevitable, not because the universe changed, but because you did. The subtle dimension of this process that few people understand is the profound role of emotional energy in your manifestation. Your words aren't just intellectual concepts, they're emotional magnets that either attract or repel wealth based on the feeling state behind them. When you say, "I am broke," or "I can't afford that," there's typically a frustrated, anxious, or defeated energy behind the declaration. This emotional charge is actually the repelling force that pushes prosperity away from your experience. The universe doesn't primarily respond to your words. It responds to the emotional frequency your words are broadcasting. This is why the nighttime affirmation works with such precision. When you speak, "I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance," from a place of peaceful expectation rather than desperate need, You create a magnetic pull that draws money toward you instead of pushing it away. The revolutionary understanding is that your emotional state while speaking these words matters more than the words themselves. This is why spiritual masters emphasize feeling the reality of what you're declaring, not pretending, but genuinely embodying the calm certainty that abundance is already yours by divine right. This journey of transformation isn't about forcing yourself to believe something that feels false. It's about returning to the truth of abundance that has been obscured by years of programmed limitation. With each sincere declaration, you're not creating a new reality. You're remembering the boundless prosperity that was always your inheritance. If the idea of $10,000 flowing to you still feels wildly impossible, type "expanding my belief system" in the comments, because acknowledging where you currently are is the first step toward where you're going. Let me share something liberating with you, a truth that removes one of the biggest obstacles people face when beginning this practice. When you first start speaking words of abundance, especially if you're currently surrounded by evidence of financial struggle, your mind may laugh in disbelief. That skeptical voice might say, "Who are you kidding? Look at your bank account." This completely normal reaction stops many people before they even begin. Here's the empowering revelation. You don't need to fully believe these declarations at first. In fact, almost nobody starts with 100% belief. The transformation unfolds through consistent repetition regardless of your initial skepticism. This is the hidden miracle of neuroplasticity. Your brain physically rewires itself through repetition, not through instant conviction. Think about learning any new skill, like playing piano or speaking a language. Initially, your movements or pronunciations feel awkward and unnatural. But through consistent practice, neural pathways strengthen until the new pattern feels completely natural. Your relationship with abundance follows the exact same principle. What feels like an affirmation today becomes your default reality. Tomorrow, the psychological breakthrough is understanding that repetition gradually builds belief, and belief creates results. This sequence never happens in reverse. Those waiting to feel abundant before speaking abundance are caught in an impossible paradox. The feeling emerges from the practice, not before it. This isn't just abstract theory. Let me share a powerful testimony that demonstrates this principle in action. I once worked with a woman who was in serious financial distress. Unemployed for months, bills piling up, and panic setting in as her savings dwindled. Her initial reaction to this affirmation practice was understandably skeptical, but she committed to saying the phrase daily despite her doubts. Each night before sleep, she declared, "I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance. Money comes to me easily, expected and unexpected." At first, it felt like empty words, but she persisted with consistency and growing emotion. Within a month, just 30 days of this simple practice, she received a phone call from a former colleague offering her a freelance project. The compensation? Exactly $10,000. What struck her most wasn't just the amount, but the effortless way it arrived. As she described it, "It felt like the money was actually looking for me rather than me desperately chasing it." This profound shift in perspective reveals the authentic mechanics of manifestation. When you align with abundance through your words, opportunities begin seeking you out rather than you struggling to find them. The illuminating insight from her experience wasn't that the affirmation caused the job offer through some mystical mechanism. Rather, the daily declaration shifted her vibration to a frequency where she could recognize and receive the opportunity that might have always been available but previously invisible to her perception. This journey of consciousness transformation follows a reliable pattern. First comes the declaration, spoken despite doubt. Then comes the internal shift, subtle changes in how you perceive and respond to money situations. Finally comes the external evidence that most people mistakenly wait for before beginning the process. If you've been hesitating to begin this practice because it doesn't feel authentic yet, type "permission to doubt while I declare" in the comments, because that initial doubt doesn't diminish the power of your words one bit. Now, a crucial understanding as you begin this prosperity practice: transformation rarely arrives as one massive windfall in the first week. The universe typically responds first with small shifts that gradually build momentum. Think of it like turning a large ship. The initial movement might seem subtle, but once the new direction is established, the momentum becomes unstoppable. When you start declaring, "I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance" each night, you might not immediately receive a $10,000 check in the mail. Instead, you'll begin noticing subtle realignments in your financial flow. Perhaps an unexpected discount, a refund you weren't expecting, or a small amount of money returned to you from an old debt. These initial manifestations might seem insignificant when measured against your larger financial desires. But here's the profound revelation that changed my entire perspective. These small synchronicities aren't the end result. They're the first evidence that your energetic blueprint is being restructured. They're confirmation that your practice is working at the causal level, rearranging the invisible patterns that govern your financial experience. As you continue the practice with consistency, you'll notice the size and frequency of these synchronicities increasing. New opportunities appear with perfect timing. Resources you need show up just when required. Unexpected gifts arrive from surprising sources. Your environment begins reorganizing itself to match your new energetic signature. This gradual escalation isn't because the universe is being stingy or making you earn larger amounts. It's because your own consciousness needs time to expand enough to comfortably receive greater abundance. Each small manifestation helps your belief system stretch beyond its previous limitations, preparing you to receive at higher levels. As your awareness shifts through this practice, you'll begin noticing something revelatory about your social environment, the pervasive poverty language that surrounds you daily. You'll suddenly hear how friends, family, colleagues, and even strangers constantly reinforce limitation with phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," "We can't afford that," or "People like us never get ahead." This cultural soundtrack of lack plays constantly in the background of most lives, unconsciously programming collective expectations about what's financially possible. The awakening moment comes when you realize you've been dancing to this disempowering music your entire life without questioning it. The decision point in your journey arrives when you recognize that you cannot continue participating in this chorus of limitation while simultaneously trying to manifest abundance. Just as you wouldn't expect to lose weight while constantly talking about junk food, you cannot manifest prosperity while engaging in regular conversations that reinforce scarcity. This doesn't mean isolating yourself from loved ones. It means making a conscious choice about which conversations you'll participate in and which narratives you'll reinforce with your agreement. When someone begins the familiar complaint about money, you can compassionately listen without joining the energetic agreement that finances are inherently difficult. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is this crucial shift from unconscious participation in collective scarcity to conscious creation of your own prosperity narrative. Your declarations before sleep plant the seeds, but your daily word choices either nourish or poison those seeds. If you've started noticing how much lack talk fills your environment, type "changing the soundtrack" in the comments, because awareness of these patterns is the first step to breaking free from their influence. Let me share with you the exact protocol that can begin transforming your financial reality starting tonight. It's remarkably simple, yet incredibly powerful when followed with consistency. Commit to speaking this precise phrase 3 times daily for just 7 days. I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance. Money comes to me easily, expected and unexpected. The timing of this practice matters significantly. Say it once in the morning when you first wake up, once in the afternoon during a brief moment of quiet, and most importantly, right before you drift off to sleep at night. The twilight state between wakefulness and sleep creates a direct pathway to your subconscious mind, bypassing the critical faculty that might otherwise reject these new abundance instructions. What makes this 7-day commitment so transformative isn't the complexity of the practice, but the consistency of it. Don't skip days, don't substitute words, and don't overthink the process. The power lies in the rhythmic repetition that begins rewriting your prosperity programming at the deepest level. The revelation that changed my understanding of manifestation was learning that divine law operates with mathematical precision. Just as planting a seed and providing water, sunlight, and time inevitably produces a plant, speaking these words with feeling inevitably produces a shift in your prosperity consciousness. As you move through your 7-day initiation into abundance consciousness, develop the spiritual discipline of heightened awareness. Begin watching for even the smallest signs that the universal law is responding to your new vibration. These signs might appear insignificant to others, but represent profound evidence of your energetic recalibration. Perhaps you'll find money on the street, receive an unexpected refund, or have someone unexpectedly pay for your coffee. Maybe a forgotten debt will be repaid, or an inspired business idea will download into your consciousness when you least expect it. Each of these synchronicities, regardless of size, deserves celebration as confirmation that you're in harmony with the abundance that surrounds you. The milestone moment in this journey comes when you recognize these aren't random coincidences, but direct responses to your alignment with divine law. This perspective shift is where manifestation becomes less mysterious and more systematic, not because the universe is mechanical, but because spiritual principles operate with flawless consistency when properly applied. When these synchronicities appear, resist the temptation to dismiss them as just luck or would have happened anyway. This dismissive attitude creates resistance in your manifestation field. Instead, acknowledge each sign with gratitude and declare, yes, this is evidence of the divine law working in my life. What's happening beneath the surface of your awareness during this 7-day practice is profound. Your consciousness is being restructured at the quantum level, altering the energetic blueprint that determines which experiences can enter your reality. You're literally becoming a different person energetically, someone who resonates with abundance rather than scarcity. This initial week is just the beginning of a lifelong relationship with prosperity consciousness. Many people report experiencing significant shifts within 7 days, but the true mastery comes from incorporating these principles into your daily existence until speaking the language of abundance becomes as natural as breathing. If you're feeling ready to commit to this 7-day transformation journey, type "starting my 7 days" in the comments. I'd love to hear about the synchronicities that begin appearing in your life. A powerful amplifier that transforms this practice from effective to extraordinary is the consistent expression of gratitude for every sign of abundance that appears in your life. When you notice even the smallest manifestation, finding a quarter on the sidewalk, receiving an unexpected discount, or having someone treat you to coffee, pause and say, "Thank you" aloud with genuine feeling. This verbal acknowledgement might seem like a simple courtesy, but on an energetic level, it's doing something remarkable. Your spoken gratitude acts as a signal amplifier, broadcasting to the universal intelligence that you've noticed and appreciated its response to your alignment. This creates a powerful feedback loop that accelerates your manifestation process. Think of it like a conversation with the intelligence of abundance itself. When you declare, "I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance," and the universe responds with a small synchronicity, your gratitude essentially says, "Yes, I received your message. More of this, please." Without this acknowledgement, it's like ignoring someone who's trying to give you a gift. Eventually, they might stop trying. The revelation that transformed my relationship with abundance was understanding that gratitude isn't just a polite response. It's a creative force that expands whatever you apply it to. Each time you verbalize appreciation for financial flow, you're literally instructing the universe to increase that flow. The things you consistently express gratitude for multiply in your experience. Now let me share a profound insight about the architecture of your prosperity. Your specific word choices don't just describe your financial reality. They actively direct your thought patterns and problem-solving abilities. This subtle shift in language can make a monumental difference in your results. Consider the dramatic difference between these two statements when looking at something you desire, "I can't afford that," versus "How can I afford that?" The first declaration is a period. It ends the conversation with your creative mind. The second is a question mark. It initiates a dialogue with your innate problem-solving intelligence. When you say, "I can't afford that," your brain immediately accepts this as fact and shuts down all creative pathways toward obtaining what you want. But when you ask, "How can I afford that?" your brain automatically begins searching for solutions, additional income streams, resourceful approaches, or innovative paths you hadn't considered before. This illuminating distinction explains why some people remain perpetually stuck, while others rise to new financial heights, regardless of their starting circumstances. It's not intelligence, education, or even opportunity that makes the primary difference. It's the language patterns that either activate or deactivate their creative faculties. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is this fundamental shift from statement to question, from limitation to possibility, from conclusion to exploration. Your brain is essentially a sophisticated solution-generating machine, but the quality of solutions depends entirely on the quality of questions you feed it through your words. The paradigm shift that awaits you is recognizing that abundance isn't primarily about having more. It's about asking better questions that open doorways your previous language kept firmly shut. This one adjustment in how you speak about money situations can unleash creativity that transforms your entire financial landscape. If you've caught yourself using closed language about money in the past, type "asking better questions" in the comments, because this awareness is where your language revolution truly begins. Now let me share one of the most profound revelations on this abundance journey, one that completely transformed my understanding of manifestation. Even if you follow this practice faithfully and initially see no external evidence of change, something extraordinary is still happening beneath the surface. The first shifts always occur internally, creating the essential foundation for all external prosperity. This nighttime declaration works by rewiring your inner dialogue first. Each time you say, "I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance," you're creating new neural pathways that gradually replace the old scarcity programming. This internal recalibration is actually the most critical part of the process, far more important than any immediate financial windfall. The hidden truth that most manifestation teachers miss is this: you cannot attract external abundance while feeling internally impoverished. Your outer world is always a reflection of your inner landscape. This is why people who suddenly receive large sums of money without changing their internal prosperity blueprint often lose everything just as quickly. Their consciousness hasn't been restructured to hold that level of abundance. When you consistently speak these words before sleep, you're addressing the root system rather than just the visible branches of your prosperity tree. You're creating fertile inner soil where lasting abundance can take root and flourish organically. Once you genuinely feel prosperous, regardless of your current bank balance, money naturally begins finding its way to you through channels both expected and unexpected. This perspective shift reveals why traditional approaches to financial improvement often fail. They focus exclusively on external strategies while ignoring the internal blueprint that ultimately determines your results. It's like trying to grow roses in toxic soil. No amount of sunlight or water will overcome the fundamental problem at the root level. Another revolutionary insight that elevates this practice beyond ordinary affirmations is understanding the energetic posture from which you speak. These words, many people approach manifestation as supplicants, begging, pleading, or desperately hoping the universe will grant their wishes if they're good enough or try hard enough. This beggarly posture actually creates resistance in your manifestation field because it broadcasts lack and unworthiness. The breakthrough comes when you shift to speaking as a conscious co-creator of your reality, not as someone trying to get something you lack, but as someone ready to receive what's already yours by divine law. When you declare, "I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance," speak it not as a hopeful aspiration, but as a sovereign reminder of what's already true. Your tone, your posture, even your breathing should reflect the dignity of someone who knows they are a divine channel through which abundance naturally flows. This subtle yet profound shift transforms your relationship with universal intelligence from one of dependency to one of partnership. You're not asking the universe for favors. You're aligning your words with the laws that govern prosperity, just as you align with gravity by respecting its principles rather than begging it to work. The enlightening pathway that opens before you is one of ever-deepening recognition that abundance isn't something external to be pursued, but an internal state to be embodied. Your words before sleep are simply aligning your consciousness with the prosperity that has always been your spiritual inheritance. If you're beginning to understand that true wealth begins as an internal state rather than an external condition, type inside-out transformation in the comments, because this realization is where genuine financial freedom begins. Let me share a powerful metaphor that transformed my understanding of how this nighttime declaration actually works. Think of your words as seeds being planted in the garden of your consciousness. Just like physical seeds, they contain all the potential for magnificent growth. But they require the right conditions to flourish. When you speak, "I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance" before sleep, you're planting prosperity seeds in fertile soil. But here's where many people unknowingly sabotage their manifestation garden. They plant the seeds, but then fail to nurture them with the essential elements of faith and consistency. The soil of your belief must be rich enough to support what your tongue has planted. This gardening metaphor reveals the precision of spiritual law. A seed doesn't grow because you beg it to, or because you're a good person who deserves a garden. It grows because you've provided the necessary conditions for its natural unfoldment. Similarly, your prosperity affirmation doesn't manifest because you're worthy or because you've suffered enough lack. It manifests because you've aligned with the universal principles that govern abundance. The revelation that completely shifted my manifestation journey was understanding that consistency matters more than intensity. It's better to speak your declaration with calm confidence every day than to shout it with desperate emotion once a week. The steady rhythm of daily practice creates the stable conditions where prosperity consciousness can take root and flourish. Now let's explore the emotional dimension that powers this practice. A factor so critical that it can either magnify your results exponentially or neutralize them entirely. When speaking your abundance affirmation, The specific emotional state behind your words determines their manifesting potency. Many people recite prosperity declarations from a state of desperate hope, that anxious, pleading energy that says, "Please work, I really need this to happen." This emotional frequency actually creates resistance in your manifestation field because it broadcasts lack rather than abundance. The universe responds not to your words, but to the energy behind them. The transformation happens when you fuel your declarations with calm expectation instead. That quiet, centered knowing that what you're speaking is already unfolding, even if you can't yet see the evidence. This isn't pretending or forcing yourself to feel something false. It's accessing the part of you that inherently understands the reliability of universal law. Think of it like ordering at a restaurant. You don't beg the server to please bring your food and then anxiously wonder if the kitchen will actually prepare it. You simply place your order with the calm expectation that it will arrive in due time. This is the emotional posture that magnetizes prosperity, not desperate need, but quiet confidence in the process. The enlightening perspective shift happens when you recognize that expectation is actually the power source of manifestation. Your calm certainty creates a clear channel through which abundance can flow, while anxious hoping creates static that distorts the signal. This is why spiritual masters emphasize the feeling behind your words far more than the words themselves. Behind the scenes of every dramatic financial breakthrough is this subtle but crucial shift from desperate hoping to quiet expecting. It's not about pumping yourself up with artificial enthusiasm. It's about tapping into the deep, knowing that prosperity is as natural and inevitable as a seed growing when planted in fertile soil. If you've been approaching affirmations from a place of anxious hoping rather than calm, expecting, type "shifting my emotional state" in the comments, because this awareness marks a pivotal moment in your manifestation journey. Let me share one of the most common obstacles I see people encounter on their prosperity journey, a contradiction that silently sabotages their manifestation efforts. Many diligently declare their abundance affirmation in the morning, feeling that initial surge of possibility, only to completely undermine it hours later through careless conversation. You simply cannot declare "money comes to me easily" during your morning practice, and then tell a friend at lunch, "I don't know how I'm going to pay rent this month." This energetic contradiction creates spiritual whiplash in your manifestation field. It's like placing an order at a restaurant and then immediately calling the server back to cancel it. The universe cannot respond to such mixed signals. This inconsistency reveals a fundamental misunderstanding about how manifestation actually works. Your occasional affirmations don't override your dominant thought patterns and habitual declarations. The prosperity order you place through intentional affirmation gets cancelled when you revert to scarcity language in everyday conversation. The enlightening realization that transformed my results was understanding that what you say during casual conversation often carries more manifestation power than your formal affirmations. Why? Because casual statements typically contain more genuine belief and emotional charge than recited declarations. The universe responds to the energy behind your words, not just the words themselves. This insight demands a fundamental shift in approach, developing what spiritual teachers call circumspection of speech. This means becoming intensely mindful of every word you speak about money, not just during your formal practice, but throughout your entire day. If you can't speak with faith about your financial situation, choose silence until you can. Now, let me share a specific protocol that magnifies the power of your morning affirmation exponentially. Each day, before touching your phone or engaging with the outside world in any way, place your hand over your heart center and slowly speak your prosperity declaration. I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance. Money comes to me easily, expected and unexpected. This precise timing matters profoundly. The first moments after waking represent a sacred threshold when your mind remains highly receptive and not yet cluttered with external demands. By speaking your affirmation as your very first conscious act, you're setting the energetic signature for your entire day before the world can impose its frequency upon you. The physical placement of your hand on your heart creates a powerful circuit that amplifies your declaration. As you speak, feel the vibration of your own voice resonating in your chest. Visualize these words as golden light spreading through your body, programming every cell for wealth, harmony, and ease. This morning ritual essentially creates an energetic foundation that helps you maintain prosperity consciousness throughout the day, even when faced with apparent financial challenges. It serves as an anchor point that you can mentally return to whenever you feel yourself slipping into scarcity thinking. The paradigm shift that transformed my understanding was recognizing that prosperity manifestation isn't about occasional powerful declarations. It's about maintaining energetic consistency across all your communication. Your nighttime affirmation plants the seed, your morning practice waters it, and your careful speech throughout the day provides the sunlight that allows it to flourish. If you've noticed yourself making contradictory statements that might be sabotaging your prosperity, type "watching my words" in the comments, because this awareness marks the beginning of true energetic sovereignty. Another crucial dimension of this prosperity practice that few people understand is the emotional tone with which you speak your affirmations. Many approach these declarations with such seriousness and strain that they inadvertently transform what should be joyful into something that feels like a chore or obligation. This solemn approach actually creates resistance in your manifestation field. The breakthrough insight that revolutionized my practice was discovering that money responds to joyful energy faster than any other emotional frequency. When you declare, "I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance," with lightness, playfulness, and genuine pleasure, you create an irresistible magnetic field that prosperity naturally flows toward. Have you ever noticed how money seems to flow effortlessly to genuinely happy people, even when they don't appear to be working particularly hard? This isn't coincidence or unfair favoritism by the universe. It's because joy is the emotional signature of abundance itself. The universe reads joy as evidence of abundance consciousness already present, and it responds by matching that frequency with corresponding experiences. This understanding invites you to approach your nighttime declaration not as a spiritual duty, but as a delightful conversation with the intelligence of prosperity itself. Speak these words with the same pleasure you might feel when greeting a beloved friend. Let your voice carry the lightness of someone who already feels wealthy rather than the heaviness of someone desperately trying to become wealthy. Now, let me address one of the most insidious barriers that silently blocks many people's prosperity flow: the unconscious guilt about wanting more money. This hidden emotional pattern runs so deep in our collective psyche that many aren't even aware of its presence in their consciousness. Perhaps you were raised with messages like, "Money is the root of all evil," or "Rich people are greedy," or "Spiritual people shouldn't focus on material things." These cultural and religious imprints create a profound inner conflict. You consciously desire greater abundance, while subconsciously feeling that it's somehow wrong or selfish to want more than you currently have. The paradigm shift that unlocked a new dimension of prosperity in my life was recognizing that wanting money isn't selfish, it's sacred. Money is simply concentrated energy, and energy in itself is neither good nor bad. It simply amplifies the intentions and character of the person who possesses it. When money flows to conscious individuals with generous hearts and visionary minds, it becomes a powerful force for positive transformation in the world. It funds humanitarian projects, supports artistic creation, enables scientific breakthroughs, provides for families, and creates opportunities for others. The illuminating truth is that money in good hands does good things. Your desire for greater prosperity isn't about greed or ego. It's about expanding your capacity to serve, create, and contribute at higher levels. The more financially empowered you become, the greater impact you can have in the spheres that matter most to you. This perspective transforms your relationship with money from one of guilt-laden wanting to one of purposeful stewardship. When you declare, "I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance," you're not just asking for personal gain, you're expanding your capacity to be a channel through which prosperity can flow to many. If you've been carrying hidden guilt about your desire for greater abundance, type "releasing financial guilt" in the comments, because this liberation from unconscious conflict is where your true prosperity journey begins. Let me share a powerful framework that revolutionized my understanding of prosperity manifestation, what I call the 2EA of abundance. This three-part process transforms abstract concepts into tangible results by addressing every dimension of your relationship with money. Think of it as the complete circuit that allows prosperity to flow freely into your experience. The first A stands for awareness. This initial step involves becoming acutely conscious of how you currently speak about money throughout your day. Most people are shocked when they begin monitoring their habitual money talk. The casual complaints, the limiting declarations, the scarcity-based jokes that escape their lips without thought. This heightened awareness is like turning on a light in a previously dark room. You can't change what you don't notice, so this consciousness becomes the foundation for all transformation. Today, begin listening to yourself with new ears. Notice the phrases that automatically emerge when you check your bank balance, receive a bill, or discuss finances with others. Each negative statement you catch is actually a victory, a pattern identified for transformation rather than a reason for self-judgment. This awareness interrupts the unconscious programming that has been sabotaging your prosperity. The second A represents alignment. Once you've become aware of your current patterns, you can begin deliberately aligning your new declarations with genuine emotion. This is where many people falter. They repeat abundance affirmations like robots, saying the words while their emotional state remains completely disconnected from what they're declaring. True alignment occurs when your words, feelings, and beliefs move into coherence. When you say, "Money comes to me easily," allow yourself to feel the relief, excitement, and gratitude that would naturally accompany that reality. This isn't pretending. It's accessing the part of you that already knows abundance as your natural state. The third A is action. While the spiritual dimension of prosperity is essential, the physical dimension requires movement. The universe responds to your declarations, but the material world responds to your inspired action. When you align your physical movements with your energetic declarations, you create an unstoppable force for transformation. These aren't random actions based on hustle or struggle. They're inspired movements that naturally emerge from your new state of consciousness. Perhaps sending that email you've been procrastinating, upgrading your financial knowledge, or launching the creative project that keeps nudging your awareness. Each action that matches your declaration signals readiness to receive. Now, let's deepen this practice with the transformative power of visualization. When you speak your abundance affirmation before sleep, don't just repeat empty words. Close your eyes and actually feel the sensation of receiving $10,000. Experience the relief washing through your body, the excitement tingling in your chest, the profound gratitude expanding your heart. Imagine holding that money in your hands. Feel its weight, see its color, Notice the details. Visualize exactly what you would do with it, paying bills with ease, making that important purchase, or investing in your future. This sensory-rich imagination transforms abstract words into energetic magnets that begin attracting corresponding experiences. The revelation that changed everything in my manifestation practice was understanding that your subconscious doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual physical experiences. Both create the same neurological patterns, emotional responses, and energetic signatures. When you consistently visualize abundance with emotional intensity, your brain and energy field begin responding as if that prosperity is already present. If you're ready to practice visualization as part of your abundance declaration, type "activating my imagination" in the comments, because this marriage of word and image is where manifestation becomes truly magnetic. Now let me share an important insight that often catches people by surprise when they begin this prosperity practice. Something curious tends to happen when you start consistently declaring abundance. Your financial situation might temporarily appear to get worse rather than better. Perhaps an unexpected bill arrives, something breaks that requires immediate replacement, or a source of income briefly pauses. Many people interpret this initial chaos as evidence that it's not working and abandon their practice precisely when they should persist. Here's the revolutionary perspective that transforms my understanding. This apparent disorder isn't failure. It's actually powerful evidence that energy is reorganizing at a fundamental level. Think of it like cleaning out a closet. When you first begin the process, everything looks messier than before as items are removed, sorted, and rearranged. This temporary disarray is necessary for creating the new, improved order. The same principle applies to your financial energy field. When you declare, "I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance," you're essentially initiating a profound restructuring of your prosperity blueprint. Old energetic patterns that no longer serve you must clear out before new patterns can fully establish themselves. This transitional phase can appear as temporary chaos in your external circumstances. Behind the scenes of this process is a fundamental truth about transformation. It rarely occurs through gentle, incremental shifts. Real breakthroughs typically involve a phase of creative destruction as outdated structures dissolve to make room for new possibilities. The universe isn't punishing you when disorder appears. It's actually responding precisely to your declaration by rearranging circumstances to support greater abundance. The wisdom response when this happens isn't to panic or abandon your practice. It's to maintain steady faith in the process, continuing your declarations even when external evidence seems contradictory. This spiritual perseverance during apparent chaos is what separates those who experience lasting transformation from those who remain trapped in recurring patterns. Now, let me share a beautiful daily ritual that revolutionized my relationship with money. Something so simple yet profound that it transformed my entire prosperity consciousness. Each night before sleep, after stating your formal affirmation, take a moment to speak directly to money as if it were a beloved friend sitting beside you. Say something like, "Money, I'm so grateful for how you're showing up in my life. I appreciate all the ways you support me and allow me to support others. I'm open to receiving more of you in beautiful, unexpected ways that serve the highest good." This practice might initially feel strange, but its impact runs remarkably deep. By personifying money this way, you're transforming your relationship with it from one of fear, anxiety, or resentment to one of friendship, appreciation, and trust. You're essentially healing the emotional wounds that have kept prosperity at a distance. What happens energetically is fascinating. Money, like all forms of energy, responds to the emotional charge you associate with it. When you speak to it with genuine warmth and gratitude, you're dissolving the negative charge from past experiences and creating a welcoming field that naturally draws more of it towards you. If this money conversation practice resonates with you on an intuitive level, type "making friends with money" in the comments, because this relationship transformation is often where the most profound abundance shifts begin. Now let me share a profound revelation that completely transformed my understanding of abundance, one that dissolves the scarcity mindset instantly when fully grasped. The money you desire isn't missing from the world. It's not stuck in some unreachable vault or possessed exclusively by a select few. The $10,000 you're seeking to manifest is already circulating in the global economy right now. It simply hasn't received permission to flow in your direction yet. This perspective shift is revolutionary because it eliminates the unconscious belief that you must somehow create money out of nothing. You're not asking the universe to manufacture new currency. You're simply opening channels for existing abundance to reach you. This is why the phrase "money comes to me easily, expected and unexpected" is so powerful. It's providing explicit permission for prosperity that already exists to move toward your experience. Think of abundance like the ocean, vast, boundless, and in constant motion. The limitation isn't in the supply, but in the size of the pipeline you've created to receive it. Your words, beliefs, and vibration determine the diameter of that pipeline. When you declare harmony with the divine law of abundance, you're essentially widening your receiving channel, allowing more of what already exists to flow freely into your life. The enlightening truth behind all manifestation is that you don't need to struggle or strain to attract prosperity. You simply need to remove the energetic barriers you've unknowingly placed in its path. Your consistent nighttime declarations act as permission slips for abundance that has been waiting patiently at the threshold of your experience, ready to enter when welcomed. Consider this from an energetic perspective. Every thought, word, and emotion you broadcast creates a specific frequency. That frequency either matches or mismatches the vibration of what you desire to experience. When you align your energy with abundance through conscious declaration, you're creating resonance with prosperity that naturally draws it toward you. Not because you're forcing it, but because alignment is the fundamental principle of manifestation. Now, to make this transformation tangible rather than theoretical, I invite you to commit fully to this practice for just 7 days. This isn't a vague, open-ended journey. It's a specific protocol with measurable results. For 1 week, say this phrase 3 times daily with genuine feeling. I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance. Money comes to me easily, expected and unexpected. During these 7 days, watch your words vigilantly, catching and correcting any scarcity language before it escapes your lips. Act promptly on any inspirations or intuitive nudges that arise, as these are often divine guidance responding to your new vibration. And most importantly, stay deeply grateful for every sign of abundance that appears regardless of its size. The revelation awaiting you at the end of this week is that your financial vibration doesn't require months or years to shift. It begins changing immediately when given clear, consistent instructions. Within just 7 days, you'll begin noticing evidence that your relationship with money is transforming at the causal level. Perhaps unexpected funds arrive, a new opportunity presents itself, or you simply feel a profound shift in your emotional response to financial matters. This initial week isn't the end of your journey. It's the powerful beginning of a new relationship with prosperity that will continue expanding as you maintain the practice. The universe responds first with subtle signs that grow increasingly tangible as your alignment strengthens. If you're ready to commit to this 7-day abundance initiation, type starting my abundance transformation in the comments, because naming your commitment is the first step toward embodying it. As we come to the close of our time together, I want to thank you for joining me on this journey of financial transformation. What you've learned today isn't just information. It's a powerful key that can unlock a completely new relationship with abundance in your life. Starting tonight before you drift off to sleep, remember to declare with quiet confidence, I am in harmony with the divine law of abundance. Money comes to me easily, expected and unexpected. The beautiful truth is that this practice works whether you initially believe it or not. Your consistent declaration gradually reshapes your consciousness until prosperity becomes your natural state rather than an occasional visitor. The $10,000 you desire is already in circulation, simply waiting for your energetic permission to flow toward you. If this message resonated with your soul today, I'd love to know. Type, "This message found me at the perfect time," in the comments below. I read them personally and am always moved by your experiences and breakthroughs. If you found value in today's exploration, gently tap that like button. It's not just about algorithms. It's about creating a ripple effect that allows these prosperity principles to reach others who might be ready for the same transformation you're experiencing. And if you're ready to go deeper into this abundance journey with me, I invite you to subscribe. Each week, we explore another dimension of conscious creation, practical, powerful principles that translate spiritual wisdom into tangible results in your everyday life. Before you go, there's a video right here that perfectly complements what we've discussed today. It reveals the specific morning ritual that amplifies your prosperity declarations tenfold. Click and continue with me there as we take your abundance consciousness to the next level.